The sky above Zyra Prime was not like Earth's. It wasn't blue, or calm, or quiet. It burned with colors no human had ever seen. Deep violet, electric gold, and waves of shimmering purple light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Towering spires of crystal rose from the ground, glowing from within, humming with power older than human civilization. This was the capital of the Galactic Concord, a union of over 300 alien species who had mastered space travel, mind-linking, and even time mapping. They spoke without voices. They built ships that could fold space. They lived for thousands of years, and in the middle of this greatness stood a small group in gray uniforms, humans. They looked so small, so fragile. 2 arms, 2 legs, pink skin, breathing through lungs like animals. The aliens watched them with quiet pity, not hate, not anger, just the soft, distant look you give to a child trying to lift a mountain. Commander Alina stood at the front. She was tall, with dark eyes that never looked away. Her face was calm, but her hands were clenched, just enough to show she was fighting something inside. Pride, anger, fear. She didn't speak first. She waited, listened. Around her, the council hall buzzed with sound, but not words. Some aliens sent pulses of light, others vibrated the air. A floating jelly-like being, Counselor Nalvex spoke in deep rumbles that made the floor shake. A tall silver creature from Vather stood silent, its thoughts broadcast like radio waves. No one needed translators except the humans. The topic was the Void Rift, a dark tier in space near the edge of the galaxy. It had already swallowed 3 colonies, no signals, no wreckage, just silence. Scientists from a dozen species had studied it. No one agreed on what it was. A black hole, a weapon, a living thing. Earth's team had spent months running tests, building models, studying every clue. Their report was simple. The rift was growing, and it was learning. Alina stepped forward. The rift adapts, she said, her voice clear and strong. Every time we send a ship, it changes. It learns how our shields work, how our weapons fire. It's not just destroying, it's studying us. If we don't act now, it will reach Zyra Prime in 6 weeks. Silence. Then Nalvex pulsed red. You base this on simulations. His voice rolled like thunder. We have minds that see the future. You still use computers and numbers. A ripple of laughter moved through the chamber. One alien flickered like a broken light. Another made. They sound like glass cracking. Their version of a chuckle. Alina didn't look down. She didn't blink. Yes, she said. We use computers. We use math. We test, fail, learn, and try again. That's how we got here. More laughter. A liquid being from Thalassa drifted forward, its voice like wind through water. Your species joined the Concord only 50 years ago. You still burn your forests. You fight over borders. You pollute your oceans and call it progress. And now you come here to teach us. Alina looked around. She saw no faces like hers. No one who blinked, who breathed hard, who felt in a body that could break. But she didn't feel small. She felt angry. You're right, she said. We are not perfect. We make mistakes. We hurt each other. We destroy our home and then try to fix it. We are loud. We are messy. We cry when we are sad and scream when we are angry. She paused. Her voice dropped, but grew stronger. But we keep going. When our cities flooded, we built walls. When disease came, we found cures. When we were told we could never fly, we built wings. When we were told we could never reach the stars, we did. No one laughed now. We may not have your power, she said. We don't read minds. We can't live for 1,000 years. Our ships are slow. Our weapons are weak. But we have something you don't. She looked at each alien, one by one. We have hope, and we have will. And when we say we won't give up, we mean it. Silence. Long. Heavy. Nalvex pulsed. Cold blue. Denied. Earth's plan is rejected. You lack the technology, the scale, the evolution to lead. The vote was over. Alina turned and walked out. Her team followed. Kai Tanaka, the young pilot with fire in his eyes. Miracho, the quiet engineer who fixed ships like she was healing people. Dr. Eris Thorne, the thinker who always asked why. As the great doors closed behind them, Kai whispered, "They'll never listen. To them, we're just noise. A mistake in the data." Alina stopped, looked up at the burning sky, at the stars beyond the violet clouds. Then she smiled, not a happy smile, a fighting smile. "No," she said, "we're not noise." She turned to her team, her voice low, full of fire. 3 days after the vote, the stars began to die. Not all at once, not with fire or explosion, but quietly, like lights turning off in a vast, dark house. First, the outer colonies blinked out. No warnings, no distress calls, just silence. Then the sensors failed. On Zyra Prime, alarms screamed. Across the Concord monitoring stations, screens flashed red. Ships in orbit reported strange gravity pulls, like something was breathing in space. And then came the sound, a low, slow pulse, deep and heavy, like a heartbeat from the edge of nothing. It came through every speaker, every comms channel, even the silent mind links of the Vathari. It wasn't loud, but it shook the bones. It was the Void Rift, and it was moving. On board the UNSS Prometheus, Earth's strongest warship, the crew stood frozen as the data poured in. Holograms showed the rift, a dark tear in space, jagged and endless, swallowing light, matter, even time. Around it, the wreckage of alien ships floated like dead leaves in a storm. Dr. Eris Thorne, Earth's lead scientist, stared at the numbers. His hands trembled. "It's not just growing," he whispered. "It's learning." Kai Tanaka, the young pilot, leaned forward. "Learning what?" "How to eat us," Aris said. "Every ship that went near it, Vathari, Kalorn, Sylph, all destroyed. But not randomly. It studied them, learned their shields, their weapons, their minds. Then it found the weak spot, and used it." Silence filled the bridge. Mira Cho, the engineer, checked the power levels. "Our shields are at 92%. But if that thing adapts like Eris says, we won't last 5 minutes. Alina Rostova stood at the front, arms crossed, eyes on the screen. She didn't speak. She just watched, like she was memorizing every second. Then, the call came. A hologram of Counselor Nalvex flickered to life, his jelly-like body pulsing red with fear, not anger. "All fleets, form defensive lines. Protect Zyra Prime at all costs." Alina frowned. "What about evacuation?" "The rift moves too fast," Nalvex said. "In 48 hours, it will reach the inner systems. There is no escape." A pause, then, cold and sharp, he added, "Human fleet, you wanted to prove yourselves? You claimed to understand the rift. Now is your chance. Move to the front line. Delay it. Even for 10 minutes, it may save millions." The screen went dark. Kai turned to Alina. "They're sending us to die." Alina didn't look at him. She looked at the rift on the screen, a wound in the universe, hungry and silent. "No," she said. "They're sending us to fight." The Prometheus led a small human fleet, 6 ships, old but strong, built for war, not show. No fancy tech, no mind links, just steel, fire, and people who refused to quit. As they moved toward the rift, space twisted, stars bent, light stretched, like rubber. The ship groaned. Gravity spikes at 250%. Mira shouted, hull holding. "For now," shields flickering. Kai said, hands tight on the controls. "Something's watching us." Then it happened. A Vathari warship, sleek, silver. Silent tried to fire on the rift. A beam of pure light shot out. The rift pulsed, the beam bent, twisted, fired back, and the Vathari ship exploded from within. Then a Kaler'n psychic fleet tried to attack with thought waves. The rift absorbed the signal. Seconds later, the Kaler'n ships turned on each other, destroying themselves in silence. Alina watched, heart pounding. It's not just strong, it's smart. It learns from every attack. Eris looked up, eyes wide. But it doesn't know us. Alina turned. What? Our tech is different, crude, unpredictable. We don't think like them. We don't fight like them. We fail. We improvise. We do the stupid, crazy thing no logical mind would expect. A slow fire lit in Elena's eyes. You're saying, our weakness is our strength. Eris nodded. The rift knows perfect machines, perfect strategies. But it's never faced a species that wins by accident, that fights with noise, with emotion, with hope. Silence fell. Then Alina stood tall. All hands, she said, voice clear, strong, full of fire. Seal the decks, arm the railguns, load fusion torpedoes. She looked at her crew, Kai, Mira, Eris, the engineers, the medics, the kids who left Earth to protect something bigger than themselves. This is not a suicide mission, she said. This is a human mission. We don't have the biggest guns. We don't have the fastest ships. But we have something they can't copy, something they can't predict. She paused. We have heart. And today, we make the universe feel it. Outside, the rift pulsed, dark, endless, sure of its power. But inside the Prometheus, something woke up, not fear, not anger, will. And for the first time, the stars didn't seem so far away. The human fleet moved like a heartbeat through the dark, slow, steady, alive. 6 ships, no more. The Prometheus led them, scarred from past missions, its hull patched with steel from old Earth shipyards. The others followed, the Dauntless, the Liberty, the Spartan, the Horizon, the Phoenix, and the Valor. None were the fastest. None had gravity shields or quantum cloaks like the alien warships. Their weapons were old, railguns that fired slugs at near light speed. Fusion torpedoes that burned with the fire of a tiny sun, but they carried something no alien fleet could measure. Courage. Inside the Prometheus, the air was tense. Lights flickered red. Alarms hummed low. Crew members moved fast but calm, checking systems, sealing hatches, whispering prayers or jokes to keep fear away. Kai Tanaka sat at the helm, fingers tight on the controls. His heart pounded, but his voice stayed steady. Distance to rift, 200,000 clicks, and closing. Gravity waves spiking. We're flying through a storm. Myra Cho stood in engineering, her face lit by flickering screens. Engines at 95%, life support stable. But if that thing hits us with a gravity pulse, we could be crushed like a can. Doctor, Aris Thorne studied the rift on his screen, a jagged black tear, silent and hungry. It's not just destroying, he said. It's learning. Every ship it eats, it becomes smarter, stronger, more dangerous. Alina Rostova stood at the front of the bridge, eyes on the dark. She didn't move, didn't blink. She looked like a statue. But inside, her mind raced. She thought of Earth, of cities lit at night, of children laughing, of oceans, forests, mountains, all fragile, all alive. She thought of how far humans had come from caves to stars, from war to hope. And she thought, we don't belong here, but we're here anyway, because that's what humans do. Then the first alien fleet fell, a group of Vathari warships, sleek, silver, glowing with inner light, fired a wave of energy at the rift. A perfect attack. Silent, fast, precise. The rift pulsed. The energy wave bent, twisted, and fired back. The Vathari ships exploded, not from outside, but from within, like something had turned them against themselves. Then the Kalern psychic fleet tried to attack with mindlinks. No weapons. Just thought. Pure intelligence. The rift absorbed the signal. Seconds later, the Kalern ships turned and fired on each other. No sound, no warning. Just death. Alina watched, her stomach tight. It's not just strong, it's adaptive. It learns from every attack, every move, every mind. Eris looked up, eyes wide. But it's never faced us. Alina turned. What do you mean? Our tech is different, Eris said. It's not perfect. It breaks. We fix it with tape and hope. Our ships don't think we do. And we don't think like them. We're messy, emotional. We take risks that make no sense. We fight when we should run. We hope when there's no reason. He paused. The rift understands logic, but it doesn't understand crazy. It doesn't understand love. It doesn't understand a soldier who dies to save a stranger. Silence then. Alina smiled. Not a happy smile. A fighter's smile. You're saying, our flaws are our strength. Eris nodded. Yes, the rift expects perfection, order, control. But humans, we win by being unpredictable. Back on Earth, a child named Leela sat by a window, holding a toy spaceship. Her father was on the Prometheus. She didn't know if he was alive, but she looked at the stars and whispered, "Come home, Dad." In a hospital on Mars, an old veteran watched the news. He had lost a leg in the Europa War. He couldn't walk well, but he stood up, placed a hand over his heart, and said, "Go get 'em, kids." Across human space, people lit candles, sang songs, sent messages into the dark, not orders, not plans. Love. On the Prometheus, Alina made her decision. All hands, she said, voice strong, clear, full of fire. We are not here to win a war of power. We are here to win a war of spirit. She turned to Mira. Prepare the drone swarm, but not with weapons. Load them with noise, music, voices, anything human. Mira blinked. You want to talk to the rift? Yes, Alina said. Let it hear us. Let it feel what it means to be alive, loud, messy, unafraid. Kai grinned. You want to annoy the monster with earth music? Exactly, Alina said. Play everything. Rock, jazz, lullabies, old radio shows, kids laughing, poems, prayers. Let it drown in us. Eris laughed. It's not a weapon. It's a message. And the strongest message, Alina said, is that we refuse to be silent. The drones launched, hundreds of them, small, fast, built from spare parts and old tech. No weapons, no AI, just speakers, batteries, and soul. As they reached the edge of the rift, they began to play. A child's voice sang Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. A rock song blasted, We Will Rock You. An old man recited a poem about the sea. A woman whispered, I believe in you. The rift shuddered, not from force, from confusion. It had eaten perfect machines, silent minds, logical beings. But this was noise, emotion, chaos, life. For the first time, the rift hesitated, and in that moment, the Prometheus fired. Not a wave, not a beam, a single railgun slug, fast, hot, screaming through space. It didn't destroy the rift, but it made it bleed. Inside the ship, the crew cheered quiet at first, then loud, wild, human. Alina stood tall, eyes on the stars. They had no shields, no perfect weapons, no 1,000-year wisdom. But they had something better. They had each other, and as long as that was true, no darkness, not even a tear in the universe could ever truly win. The railgun slug hit the edge of the void rift like a stone thrown into a black lake. There was no explosion, not like in the old Earth movies. No fireball, no thunder. But space twitched. The dark tear pulsed, like something deep inside had been wounded. For just a second, The endless hunger of the rift seemed to pause, and the human fleet didn't wait. Again, Alina Rostova shouted, her voice cutting through the hum of alarms and the low groan of the ship's metal body. Fire, everything, railguns, torpedoes, flares now. On the Prometheus, the guns roared. Slugs screamed into the dark. Fusion torpedoes burned, with white-hot fury, exploding near the rift's edge in silent bursts of light. Smaller ships followed, firing in wild, uncoordinated bursts, not like a perfect alien fleet, but like humans. Loud, messy, relentless. The rift reacted, tendrils, of dark energy, lashed out, not fast, but sure, like claws from a nightmare. One ripped through the Liberty. The ship didn't explode. It just vanished, swallowed, gone without a sound. Liberty is lost, Kai yelled, hands shaking on the controls. No distress signal. Nothing. Alina didn't look away. We keep fighting. Around them, the other alien fleets watched in silence. The Vathari had stopped trying to attack. The Kalern had gone dark. Even Counselor Nalvex, watching from Zyra Prime, said nothing. They had never seen anything like this, a small, weak species charging into a monster with nothing but will. And somehow, the rift was slowing. Inside the Prometheus, the air grew hot. Lights flickered. A red alarm blinked on Mira's console. Hull. Breach on deck 4, she shouted. Ceiling compartments now. A deep crack echoed through the ship. The floor tilted. Crew members grabbed rails, tables, each other. Then silence, the worst kind. Alina turned to the comms. Damage report. A young voice answered Deravos, the ship's best pilot. She sounded calm, but strained. Deck 4, gone. We lost 12 people. Life support failing in sections 7 and 8. And I'm hurt. Elena's heart dropped. Hold on, Dara. Help is coming. But help was slow. The ship was breaking. In the dark hall of Deck 4, Dara sat against a broken wall, her leg crushed under twisted metal. Blood soaked her suit. Her breath came in short gasps. Around her, the lights died one by one. She pressed her comms. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. I did good. I fought. Then she laughed, weak, but real. And I told them, Earth music would win. Bet you 5 credits I was right. Tears rolled down her face. Not from pain, from pride. Back on the bridge, Eris studied the rift. It's not just resisting us, he said. It's learning. Every shot, every move. It's adapting. Like a mind waking up. Alina clenched her fists. Then we don't give it time to learn. How? Kai asked. Our weapons are hurting it, but not enough. And we're losing ships. Alina looked at the screen, at the rift, dark and endless. Then at the drone swarm, still playing Earth's noise. A child singing, a jazz band playing, an old man telling a joke. And she understood. It's not afraid of our weapons, she said slowly. It's confused by us, by our chaos, our emotions, our noise. Eris nodded. Yes, it runs on logic, order. But humans, we cry when we're happy. We laugh when we're scared. We fight even when we know we might lose. Alina stood tall. Then we don't fight like soldiers. We fight like humans. They changed the plan. No more clean attacks. No more perfect formations. They went wild. The Prometheus spun in a tight turn, firing railguns in random bursts. The Dauntless played a loud rock song over Opencom's Eye of the Tiger and flew straight at the rift. Then veered away at the last second. The Phoenix launched drones that didn't attack. They danced, zigzagging in crazy patterns, playing children's songs and broadcasting old Earth commercials. One drone played a cooking show, and now, add the onions. Another played a love song, I Will Always Love You. The rift shuddered. Its movements became slower, jerky, like a machine trying to read. A book in a language it didn't know. It's confused, Eris shouted. It can't predict us. We're too random. Alina smiled. Good. Now we hurt. It. The rift fought back. A thick tendril of dark energy shot out fast, silent, and slammed into the Prometheus. The ship shook. Lights died. Alarms screamed. The Prometheus drifted like a wounded animal through the silent dark. Lights flickered. Wires hung from broken panels. Smoke curled from a torn wall near the bridge. The air smelled of burnt metal and fear, but it was still flying, still fighting. Inside, the crew moved fast, not with the calm of machines, but with the fire of people who had lost too much to stop now. They carried the injured, sealed broken decks, whispered names of the dead like prayers. Dara Voss was gone. No grand explosion, no last stand on a battlefield. Just silence, a quiet breath, a hand letting go. Alina Rostova stood in the medical bay, looking at the empty cot where Dara had lain. The sheet was still warm. A small photo was taped to the wall. Dara, as a child, laughing on a beach, holding a seashell. Her mother's name was written on the back in shaky handwriting, for when you miss home. Alina touched the photo. Her hands, usually so steady, trembled. She didn't die for nothing, Mira said quietly, standing beside her. Her face was streaked with soot, her voice tired but strong. Alina didn't answer. She just nodded. But inside, something burned. Not anger, not hate, but something deeper, purpose. They had come to fight a monster. Now they fought for her. On the bridge. Kai stared at the screen. The rift still pulsed, slower, wounded, but alive. Around it, the remains of human and alien ships floated like bones in a graveyard. We lost 3 ships, he said, voice low. Liberty, Spartan, Horizon, and now Dara. Eris stood beside him, eyes on the data. But look, the rift's energy output is down 60%. Our attacks are working, not just the weapons, the noise, the music, the voices. Kai managed a weak smile. So Earth's greatest weapon was a lullaby. Maybe, Eris said, but not just any lullaby. One sung by a mother to her child. One full of love. The rift can't understand that. It has no memory of being small, of being scared, of being held. He paused. We feel, and that makes us dangerous. In engineering, Mira worked in near darkness, fixing a broken power line by hand. Sparks flew. Her gloves were torn. Blood dripped from a cut on her palm. But she didn't stop. Around her, the younger crew whispered, "Do you think we'll make it? Will Earth even know what we did?" Myra looked up. "They'll know," she said, "because we'll tell them, even if it's the last thing we do." She wiped her face, smearing soot and sweat. "We're not just soldiers, we're people. And people don't just die quietly. We leave a mark. Back on Earth." A woman sat on a porch, holding a photo of her daughter Dara, in her pilot's uniform. The sky was clear. Stars shone. She didn't know Dara was gone, but she looked up, whispered, "Come home, baby," and wiped a tear. On Mars, a school full of children sang a song. We are the future, their voices loud and clear, rising into the thin air. Across human space, people lit candles, turned on old radios, played music from Earth, jazz, rock, folk, prayers in 100 languages. Not because they knew the fleet was hurting, but because they felt it. And humans always answer when their own are in pain. On the Prometheus, Alina walked through the ship. She saw the broken walls, the tired eyes, the quiet grief. She stopped at the mess hall. It was empty, tables broken, lights out. But on one wall, someone had written in marker, "We don't give up, ever." Below it, names were being added, not just the dead, but the living. A promise. Alina touched the words. Then she turned on the comms. "All hands," she said. Her voice was quiet at first, tired, sad. But it grew, like a fire waking up. "We've lost people. Good people. Brave people. Dara Voss didn't just fly a ship. She lived, she laughed, she loved, and she died so we could keep fighting. She paused. Her eyes were wet, but her voice didn't break. The rift doesn't care about that. It doesn't care about love, about memory, about a child's drawing or a mother's song. It only knows power, control, silence. She stepped forward. But we are not silent. We are not afraid, and we are not alone. Her voice rose. This isn't just about saving Zyra Prime. It's not just about Earth. It's about what we are. A species that builds when the world burns, that hopes when all is dark, that stands even when we fall. She looked at each face on the screen. Kai, Mira, Eris, the engineers, the medics, the kids who left home to protect something bigger. We don't have perfect minds. We don't live for thousands of years. We break. We cry. We fail. She smiled, small, but fierce. But we get back up. Silence. Then one by one, hands rose. Not in salute, in promise. Later, Eris came to her. We have an idea, he said. A final move, but it's risky. Alina didn't hesitate. Tell me. It's not about weapons, he said. It's about emotion. We flood the rift with raw human memories, joy, grief, love, fear, not data, not signals, soul. Alina looked at the stars, at the dark tier in space, at the faces of the ones they'd lost, and she knew. This wasn't just a war of strength, it was a war of meaning, and humans. They were born to mean something. Do it, she said. Let the universe hear what it means to be alive. The Prometheus floated like a dying bird in the silent dark, broken, burning, but still alive. Wires dangled from the ceiling. Sparks popped in the walls. The air smelled of sweat, smoke, and something deeper, grief. But on the bridge, a new kind of fire was being lit. Not from engines, not from weapons, but from hearts. Dr. Eris Thorne stood at the main console, fingers flying over the controls. His eyes were red, his voice hoarse, but his hands were steady. It's ready, he said. The emotional pulse. We call it Project Phoenix. Alina Rostova turned. Explain it. Like I'm human. Eris smiled. Weak, but real. Because we are human. And that's the point. He took a breath. We've been fighting the rift with railguns and torpedoes. But it learns. It adapts. It's beaten perfect machines, flawless logic, silent minds, but it's never faced this. He tapped the screen. What we're sending isn't data, not orders, not energy. It's us. Real voices, real memories, joy, grief, love, fear, everything that makes us alive. Alina looked at the screen. Names scrolled by volunteers from every ship, every crew. Not just soldiers, not just scientists, but people. A child singing a lullaby, a soldier writing a letter to his sister, an old woman praying for peace, a man laughing as he remembered his first kiss. This, Eris said, is our final weapon, not to destroy, but to confuse, to overwhelm, to make the rift stop and ask, what are these creatures? Why do they feel so much? Alina nodded slowly. Let it feel what it means to be human. Across the broken fleet, crews gathered in the dauntless. Kai Tanaka sat in the dark, holding a small recorder. He took a breath. This is Lieutenant Kai Tanaka, he said, voice soft. I'm 28 years old. I grew up in Manila, by the sea. My mom sold fish at the market. She worked every day so I could go to school. I never told her how proud I was of her. He paused. A tear rolled down his cheek. If you're hearing this, I didn't make it. But tell her, I loved her. Every single day. He turned it off. Didn't wipe the tear. In engineering, Mira Cho recorded hers while fixing a broken wire. I'm Mira Cho, she said. I'm not a hero. I'm just a mechanic. I like old Earth music. I cry during sad movies. I still talk to my dog, even though he died 5 years ago. She smiled. I guess I'm saying, I'm not perfect, But I tried. And I stood with my people. That has to mean something. She pressed send on the Phoenix. A young medic named Lean recorded a lullaby her grandmother used to sing, off-key slow, full of love, and on the Prometheus. Alina stepped up. She didn't cry. She didn't shake. But her voice, strong, deep, full of fire, carried something no machine could copy. This is Commander Alina Rostova of Earth. We are not the fastest, not the strongest, not the smartest. We fight with broken ships and old weapons. We bleed. We break. We die. She paused. But we feel. We love. We remember. We hope. Even when there is no reason. And that makes us unpredictable. That makes us dangerous. Her eyes burned. The rift thinks it feeds on energy. But it doesn't understand the one thing we have, that it can never copy. Soul. She looked straight into the camera. This is not a weapon. This is a message. We are here, we are alive, and we will never be silent. She pressed send. Across the fleet, every human ship opened its comes not to fight, not to warn, but to speak. The signal went out, not as a blast, not as a weapon, but as a wave of pure, raw humanity. A child laughed. A man proposed to his lover. I don't care if we're in space. I love you. Marry me. A mother sang to her baby. A soldier whispered, I'm scared, but I'm still here. Songs played, jazz, rock, folk, prayers in Hindi, Spanish, Swahili, Arabic. Voices cried, laughed, prayed, remembered, and the signal spread, not just through human ships, but through alien relays, through silent Kalern networks, through the Vatharies mind links, even the cold, proud aliens felt it on Zyra Prime. Counselor Nalvex sat in silence as the broadcast reached his chamber. He had no lungs, no heart, but something inside him tightened. He heard a little girl say, Daddy, come home safe. He heard an old man say, I've lived a good life, but I'm not ready to go. And for the first time in his 1,000-year existence, he understood, not with logic, but with feeling. He turned to his aide. Send this to every ship, every world, every species. Why? The aide asked. It's just noise. Nalvex looked at the stars. No, he said. It's life. In the dark, the void rift hesitated. Its slow, steady pulse, like a predator's breath. Stuttered. It had eaten perfect machines, silent minds, logical beings. But this was chaos. This was emotion. It couldn't process a mother's love. It couldn't understand a soldier's last words. It couldn't compute a child's. The void rift hung in space like a wound that refused to heal. Dark, jagged, silent. But now, for the first time, it hesitated. The endless pulse that had driven it forward, hungry, sure, unstoppable, had slowed. Its tendrils twitched, not in attack, but in confusion. Inside the Prometheus, alarms still blinked, smoke still curled from broken panels. But on the bridge, no one was afraid. They were hopeful. It's working, Eris Thorne whispered, eyes locked on the screen. The rift can't process the broadcast. It's not just noise, it's emotion. Raw, unfiltered, joy, grief, love. It's never faced anything like this. Kai Tanaka leaned forward, his face lit by the glow of the console. It's like we're speaking a language it can't understand. Exactly, Eris said. It runs on logic, order, prediction. But humans, we laugh when we're scared. We sing when we're sad. We fight even when we know we might lose. That's not weakness. That's chaos. And chaos breaks perfect machines. Alina Rostova stood at the front, arms crossed, eyes sharp. She didn't smile. Not yet. But something deep inside her, something that had been holding its breath since Zyra Prime, finally relaxed. We've heard it, she said. Now we finish it. The plan was simple, but not easy. While the rift was stunned by the flood of human voices, The fleet would plant fusion charges along its weakest points, not to destroy it, but to seal it, like stitching a wound in space. But there was one problem. The rift was surrounded by a gravity storm, a field of twisted space that crushed anything that got too close. Only the smallest, most agile ships could survive, and only one pilot had flown through it and lived. Dara Voss. Now, her seat was empty, but her name was still on the console. Kai looked at it, then he stood. I'll do it. Alina turned. Kai. That storm tore through the Spartan like paper. I know, he said. But Dara flew through it once. She recorded her path. I've studied it. If I go fast, low, and unpredictable like us, I might make it. Mira looked up from engineering. And if you don't, Kai smiled. Small? Real? Then play my message at my funeral. No one laughed, but something warm passed between them. We are here. We are together. We are not alone. Preparations began. The Phoenix and Dauntless would lay the charges, small, powerful devices designed to create a chain reaction in the rift's unstable core. The Prometheus would provide cover, firing railguns, launching drones, doing anything to keep the rift distracted. But the real danger wasn't the storm, it was time. The broadcast wouldn't last forever. Emotions fade, batteries die, voices go silent, and when the rift woke up, it would be angry. Kai suited up in silence. In the locker room, he paused at Dara's locker. Her helmet sat on the shelf. A small sticker on the side read, "Girls fly better." He touched it. Then he put on his own helmet. "I'll make you proud," he whispered. Launch time. The Phoenix, small and fast, detached from the fleet. Kai. At the controls. Mira's voice in his ear. Gravity spikes at 400%. One wrong move, and you're dust. I know, Kai said. Just keep the music loud. On every ship, the broadcast played louder now. A child singing, a man laughing, a woman saying, "I believe in you." The Phoenix shot forward. The storm hit like a wall. The ship shook. Lights died. Alarms screamed. Outside, space twisted, stars bent, lights stretched. The hull groaned like it would break. Left, hard left. Mira yelled. Kai jerked the controls. The ship spun, missing a gravity spike by meters. Next charge to 500 meters ahead. Drop it and turn. Don't look back. Kai reached the spot. Deployed the first charge. It latched onto the rift's edge, a small, glowing orb, humming with power. One down, he said, breath heavy. 5 to go. On the Prometheus. Alina watched the screen. Kai's in. Now we keep the rift distracted. She turned to Eris. Boost the broadcast. Full power. Everything we've got. Eris nodded. Routing all non-essential power to comes. Life support, lights, gravity, we're cutting it. Alina didn't hesitate. Do it. Lights dimmed, air grew thin, but the voices grew louder. An old man sang a folk song from Ireland. A girl from Nairobi recited a poem about stars. A soldier said, "I'm not afraid. I'm with my family, even if they're far away." And then Elena's own voice played again. We are here. We are alive. And we will never be silent. Kai placed the fourth charge. Then the rift moved. A tendril of dark energy lashed out. Fast, silent, aimed straight at the Phoenix. Kai, pull up. Mira screamed. He yanked the controls. The ship rolled. The tendril missed by inches. But the storm caught him. The Phoenix spun. Out of control, tumbling into the dark. Kai, talk to me. Alina shouted. A weak voice came through. Still, alive, but the last charge. I can't reach it. Silence. Then, Eris stood. There's one more way. Alina turned. What? The Prometheus. We can fire the final charge from here. But someone has to guide it in manually. With a signal. A human signal. Alina didn't blink. Then we send one. walked to the coms, took a breath, and began to speak. Not as a commander, not as a soldier, but as a human. This is Alina Rostova. I'm scared, I'm tired, I've lost friends, but I'm still here, and I'm not giving up. None of us are. Her voice carried strong, raw, full of fire. The final charge launched, guided not by logic, not by AI, but by her voice. It flew into the storm through the dark, straight into the heart of the rift, and one by one, the charges lit up like stars, being born in the void, on the bridge. No one spoke. They just watched, because they knew this wasn't just about survival. It was about who they were and who they would always be. Human, flawed, unbreakable. And as the charges glowed, ready to fire, one truth burned brighter than any star. They had not won with weapons. The charges exploded, not with fire, but with light. A wave of pure energy surged from the edge of the void rift, silent, bright, like a sunrise in the deepest dark. It didn't roar. It sang. The blast rippled through space, stitching the torn edges of the rift like a needle pulling fabric back together. The dark tear shuddered once, twice, then closed. Not slowly, not gently, but with a final, deep snap, as if the universe itself had exhaled. Then, silence. The storm died. The gravity waves faded. The stars returned to their places. The void rift was gone, on the Prometheus. No one cheered at first. They just breathed. Tanaka leaned back in his seat, helmet cracked, hands shaking. He didn't speak. He just closed his eyes and whispered, "We did it, Dara." Miracho sat in engineering, staring at the power readings. Life support was failing. Lights were out in half the ship, but the engine still hummed. The coms still worked, and they were alive. Eris Thorn wiped his face, not with a hand, but with the back of his sleeve. His eyes were red, his voice hoarse. "It's over," he said. "The rift, it's sealed." Alina Rostova stood at the front of the bridge, looking out at the stars. No smile, no shout. Just a slow nod, like someone who had carried a mountain, and finally set it down. She turned to her crew. "Bring in the fleet, check for survivors, and find the Phoenix." Kai looked up. "I'm here, Commander." A weak laugh ran through the bridge, then a real one, then a cheer, not loud, not perfect, but full of relief. They had done it, not with perfect weapons, not with alien power, but with will, with heart, with each other, across the silent space. Other ships began to move. The Vathri warships, once proud and distant, powered down their weapons. Their silver hulls dimmed, then glowed in soft pulses, a sign of respect. The Kalern fleet, silent for days, sent a single signal, a slow, deep tone, like a drumbeat at a funeral, not for the dead, but for the brave. And from Zyra Prime, a message came. It was from Counselor Nalvex. His voice, once cold, mocking, was quiet, changed. "This is Counselor Nalvex of the Galactic Concord. We saw what you did. We felt it." A pause, long, heavy. "We have lived for thousands of years. We have mastered energy, thought, time, but we have forgotten something." He took a breath. "We forgot what it means to feel, to hope, to fight when there is no logic in it. You did not win with strength. You did not win with speed. You won with soul." Another pause. "And for that, we thank you." The message ended. No fanfare, no medals, just truth. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. In cities, people stepped outside. In villages, they turned off their lights. On Mars, children ran into the open fields, looking up, and they watched. The stars were no longer in danger. The silence was gone. The fear had passed. A reporter on Luna Station spoke into the camera, voice thick. "We don't know how many we lost, but we know this. They didn't die. They mattered." In Manila, Kai's mother knelt and prayed in New Delhi. Myra's brother lit a candle. In Moscow, Helena's old teacher stood before her class and said, "This is what courage looks like." On the Prometheus, they began to count the cost. 3 ships gone, 52 lives lost. Dara Voss's name was the first on the list. Elena stood in the quiet mess hall, where someone had written on the wall, "We don't give up, ever." She touched the words. Then she turned on the comms. "All hands," she said. Her voice was tired, but strong. "We lost good people today. Brave people. They didn't just die. They gave something. Not just their lives, their hope, their love, their belief that we could win." She looked at the stars, and we did. Not because we were the strongest, not because we were the smartest, but because we refused to be silent, because we stood even when we were broken, because we cared. She paused. "This isn't just a victory for Earth. It's a victory for every species that has ever felt small, ever felt weak, ever felt like the universe was too big to fight." Her voice rose. "Today, we proved something. It's 1 year after the rift was sealed. The stars no longer felt cold. On Zyra Prime, the sky still burned violet, still danced with ribbons of light. But now, among the towering crystal spires, something new stood, a monument made, not of alien stone, but of steel, glass, and earth soil. At its center, a simple plaque read, "To the small, who stood tall, to the weak, who would not fall, to the humans, who taught the universe what courage means." Around it, beings of light, gas, and chitin stood in silence. No pulses, no vibrations, just stillness, respect. And at the front, Commander Alina Rostova stood in her gray uniform, unchanged, unbroken. She did not smile, not yet, but her heart was full. The Galactic Concord had changed. No longer did they measure strength by size, energy, or psychic reach. The old rankings were gone. In their place was a new system, one born from the battle at the Void Rift. Now, species were judged by endurance, how long they fight when all is lost; unity, how they stand together in darkness; will, how loud they scream when the universe says no. And at the top of the list, not by force, not by fear, but by truth, stood humanity. Counselor Nalvex floated forward, his jelly-like body glowing soft blue, the color of honor among his kind. "Commander Rostova," he said, voice deeper, quieter than before, "the Concord has voted. Earth is granted a permanent seat on the High Council. Equal voice, equal power." Alina looked at him, not with pride, not with anger, but with peace. "We didn't fight for a seat," she said. "We fought to survive, to protect, to mean something." Nalvex pulsed gently, "And in doing so, you earned more than power. You earned respect." Behind him, the other species bowed, not in surrender, but in acknowledgement. The Vathari lowered their silver heads. The Kalern clicked in harmony. Even the silent Sylth shimmered with light, their version of applause. Later, aboard the Prometheus, repainted, stronger than before, the crew gathered one last time. Got Kaitanaka leaned against the rail, looking at the stars. "Can you believe it? We're not just in the Concord now. We help lead it." Mira Cho smiled, sipping real Earth coffee, shipped all the way from Colombia, and they play our music in alien schools now. I heard a Kalern kid singing Happy Birthday in English. Eris Thorne laughed. They even added emotional resilience to the Galactic Knowledge Core, with a footnote. "See, humans." They stood together, quiet, watching the endless dark. No war, no fear, just peace. But not the kind that comes from silence. The kind that comes from victory. Back on Earth, life moved on. Children played in green fields. Cities glowed at night. Oceans breathed. Forests grew. In a small town in Russia, an old woman watered flowers and whispered, "You'd be proud, Alina." in Manila. Kai's mother opened a school for space pilots, the first on Earth run by a soldier's family. In Nairobi, a statue was built, not of a hero, but of a group, 6 figures, different ages, different faces, standing shoulder to shoulder. Looking up, the plaque read, "We were few, we were small, we were human, and we did not back down." On the Prometheus, Alina stood alone on the observation deck, staring at the stars. Kai joined her. "You think it's over?" She didn't look at him. "The rift is gone. The war is won. But the fight, that never ends." He nodded. "Then we keep fighting." She finally smiled. Small, warm, real, double quotes. Yes. But not just for survival. For meaning. For love. For every person who still believes in something bigger than themselves. She placed a hand on the glass. "Because that's what we are. Not the strongest. Not the fastest. But the ones who care. Who remember. Who stand up even when the universe tries to knock us down." The next day, at the final council meeting, Alina rose. All eyes turned to her, hundreds of species, thousands of minds. She didn't shout. She didn't threaten. She simply spoke. "We didn't win because we were perfect. We won because we were imperfect, because we cry, because we fail, because we love too much and fear too deep, because we are flawed, and still we rise." She looked at them all. They measured strength in size. We measured it in will. And that's why, when the darkness came, we were the ones who lit the way. Silence. Then not applause, not pulses, not light, but something deeper, respect. And somewhere, in the quiet between the stars, a child's voice played on an old recording. "Daddy, come home safe." And the universe for the first time felt a little more human.